What's up, fellas? I can't decide which side of the plane is the better side to be on. What's going on? This side's no good. We're just gonna move this big old pig out the way. So what's everybody up to tonight? Oh, yep. George Watts. I had to, well, I didn't have to, but you know, I decided to trim the beard down. Yeah, you know, Coca-Cola. That's what we call it down here in the South. I wasn't looking to go snow skiing or anything like that, you know. That'd be inappropriate for a family-oriented YouTube live show like this. Thanks, man. Thanks, guys. Hopefully everybody's doing all right. Had a good weekend, got some flying in. Excuse me. Man, I got like crazy hiccups going on tonight. The night video of the Radian, I'll tell you, this thing doesn't show up very good on camera when it's way up in the air. So I'm still trying to decide how we're going to do a night video of this thing. We may get some footage of it up at Neffy when I go up there on Thursday. So I'm going to be heading up to Muncie, Indiana on Thursday, going to the famous AMA headquarters in Muncie, Indiana, to join folks at the National Electric Fly-In that is happening up there this weekend. So that's going to be awesome, and I hope to see as many of you guys there as can come. That'll be awesome. Yeah, Pilot Jerry, that's always the answer, man. Fly lower. I'll tell you what. So I did a live build video of this thing, I think maybe Saturday night. And as soon as I was done, you know, with the live stream, I cut and run, man. I was out. I took the wings off, and I mean, look, getting the wings on and off this thing is a challenge. But I took off, headed to the field, got there at about 8:35-ish, got the wings put on, had the plane in the air at 8:40. Ooh. Mike SSI, we're going to get to that here in just a second. And I took it to the field, put it in the air at 8:40, and landed it at about 8:50, threw another battery in it, and went back up. And when I got back down, after 10 minutes of flight on both batteries, you know, because it was like, throw the battery in and chuck it, like no waiting for nothing. It was getting dark. You know, the lights are all over the place. I mean, by that time it was dark, like 8:50, but it was pretty dark out. I was the only person at the field. And this thing is so easy to see at night. Like, this is made to be a night flyer. It is awesome. I can't really see that great at night anyway, especially without my glasses on. And, you know, for some stupid reason, I don't wear my glasses as often as I probably should. And they're different. My glasses are weird. Like, I have two very different prescriptions in both eyes, right? So one eye sees one thing and one eye sees something else. So I'll get like weird double vision looking at lights at night. So as I'm looking at this thing up in the air, I see two of them, but that's okay because I know that they're both the same thing. So I'm flying this thing around at 400 feet. So I get it back down after running both batteries for about 10 minutes because we get cut off at 9 o'clock. We can't fly past 9 o'clock at my field. So I get both batteries, put them on the battery checker, and both batteries are sitting at like 4.08 volts per cell. Like it didn't use nothing. You can fly this thing for an incredibly long amount of time, and that was on a 3S 2200 pack. So just insane. Hello, my wife is in here calling me a dork. What a shocker. What $500 jet should I get? $500. So I see Brendan recommending the 90mm Viper. 90mm Viper is a little more than $500, but I kind of agree with where Brendan's going with that. By the time you buy a $500 jet and you throw a $100 receiver on top of that, you're in for $600 anyway. So I'd save $100 and get that 90mm Viper, dude. It is bad to the bone. Very good. Wild Bill, absolutely. I push the battery as far back as it'll go. This thing basically has like a hard shelf in the back of the battery bay. You can't get the battery back any further. So I took that 3S 2200, shoved it back as far as it'll go, and just threw it in the air. Bye-bye. Scale military. Scale military for 500. I mean, there's not a lot out there anymore. The 80mm F-16 from E-flite is incredible. That's very scale. It's a little more than 500 again, but you know, it's awesome. That's a great plane. Yeah, Ute, man. Check out that E-flite F-16. If you're into F-16s, the new E-flite 80mm F-16 is as super scale as an 80mm military plane gets. It performs absolutely fantastic. It is a great size. It's the same size as the Freewing 90mm pretty much. I mean, there's a small difference in the fuselage length. The wingspan, I think, is the same. So one of them's not scale. I don't know which one. But man, what a great plane. That thing flies amazing. It performs extremely well. So scale military, at that price point, I think the Freewing F-16 is where it is at. F-22 is great. I want to say the F-22 is sitting at $600 now for the high performance version. If you like the F-22, it also flies amazing. Now, between the F-22 and the F-16, I'd have to give ease of flight. So if you're looking for something that's a little easier to fly, the F-22 gets the nod. If you're looking for something that's got more scale features, the F-16, I think, gets the nod. As far as speed goes, you know, they're both about the same. But I mean, there's not a lot of better options out there right now than that E-flite F-16. That thing is amazing for what you get. Yeah, no kidding, Brendan. That's how it was, man. I think if I, you know, just let it float, you know, you catch some wind with this thing, it's flying all day. So, I know at least one person, my guess is I read the comments. You know, we've got a link in the comments for the Night Radian. We're going to talk about the night Radian here more in a little bit, but the topic of conversation that I want to have tonight may be a little controversial, maybe not. And, what I have noticed, in the years that I've been kind of watching the foam models and kind of watching how the community reacts when new releases come out, or how they react when an existing model gets improvements and is re-released. And what I'm kind of curious about is, well, I mean, and maybe it's not a curiosity, maybe it's just going to be more of a rant. And I apologize if it comes off that way. One of the things that has always kind of baffled me is why we get so up in arms when companies are releasing new models. It's almost like we have this expectation now. We've just been spoiled absolutely rotten with new models coming out all the time. And I mean, what other industry releases, I mean, other than like, new cell phones, new computer chips, whatever, when we're talking like toys and crap, I mean, these are to me like vehicles. And imagine if a company like Ryobi or, Makita had to come out with a new tool, like 5 or 6 new tools every year. And my God, if they release another drill, so help me Lord, I'm done buying tools from Makita or DeWalt or whoever. We get into this mindset of we must have new models. When is so-and-so releasing this? When is so-and-so releasing this? And lo and behold, they release something and it's not what we want. Oh my God, all hell breaks loose, man. If it's not what we want, you better watch it. The trolls are coming out of the woodworks to set that company on fire. Like everybody's coming over. We're lighting the freaking warehouse on fire. I hate these people. How dare they release this, new version of a timber or whatever. Well, here's kind of my philosophy on things. And you guys can hang out and watch or not, I mean, it's cool. Nobody ever like twists anybody's arms. It's just my perspective on things, right? When these companies make these models, I mean, if it's a model that is selling well and they can justify keeping the model in the lineup, doesn't it make sense for them to improve it? Otherwise, you're always stuck in this snapshot of whatever the technology was available when they created that model. So like the timbers, for example, we had the timber and then we had everybody complains about how many timbers there are. But if you look at like the evolution of the timber, the original one, they had the Night Timber X and the Timber X. I don't really care for those, but I know a lot of people love them. But when you look at like the original timber and then the turbo timber and now, the turbo timber evolution, these are they're very similar airframes, but huge improvements made through each iteration, and the company is clearly listening to the things that we want. We like the timber, but we wanted it with more power. So they made the turbo timber. Turbo timber's got more power. It's 3S and 4S capable. Well, we hated that bottom loading battery. We didn't like this. We didn't want this anymore. So then they come out with the turbo timber evolution. Now we have all the smart telemetry. We've got thrust reversing. We've got a top-loading battery. And people still complain. It's just another timber. No, it is not. This is a drastic improvement over the timber. So it's just like, when Ford has a Ford F-150. The F-150 has been around for seriously, 80 years, maybe longer, maybe 100 years. And the F-150 just keeps getting upgraded every 3 to 5 years, oh, we're going to make a new one. It's still going to be called the F-150, but it's obviously the F-150 today is a lot different than the F-150 from its original release. Yeah, I actually think it was like an F-100 on its original release, but whatever. You guys understand what I'm saying? Spencer says, all releases and remakes suck unless they're jets. And I get it. Some people love the jets, some people don't. I like them all, man. If it goes in the air and I can control it with a transmitter, that's the plane for me. I like them all. So, I want there to be evolutions in models. I mean, the Radian, this design's been out for a long time. Imagine if it was still the original, not the Radian Pro. I actually would like to see a Radian Pro come back that has the flaps and or spoilers and ailerons and, is a little bit more capable, a little more sporty. But, this design has been around for a long time now. The Apprentice has been around for a long time now. There's a ton of models. We're getting to a point where, how many more scale models are there for these companies to make? And then when we take into consideration licensing fees and things like that, some of the stuff that we ask for, and then we complain about pricing and things like that, it always seems like there's somebody saying something negative about everything that these companies do for us. And I just, I know that in my ideal world of saying, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say it at all. I know that that's never going to work, and there's always going to be people complaining. I just kind of wish that's how it worked. Listen, not everybody's going to love every new model that comes out or every remake or every whatever. Not everybody's going to like everything. But it doesn't mean that you have to go into a rowdy complaint session and blow up RC groups and blow up Facebook and, blow up YouTube when the reviewers that take their time out of their day to put up a review video, if it's a plane that you don't like, we didn't make that video for you. So by all means, if you know right out of the gate that you have zero interest in a night Radian, why would you click on a video for a night Radian? Why would you click on a video to watch a review? And maybe, look, I know that sounds crazy. I would never intend to discourage somebody from watching a video. If you want to click on one of my videos, by all means, watch it. It just doesn't make sense. It's almost with the intent of going there to create problems. And these are first world problems if I've ever heard of them. The poor reception of, yeah, to see a nice crash. That's always a good reason. Danny Murphy, the new FAA rules, if they have newer than new FAA rules, You know, the ones that they have, at least in my opinion, it could have been way, way worse. It could have been way, way worse. You know, I don't like the FAA rules. I think that the remote ID thing is stupid, especially for like hobbyists like us. You know, remote ID might be worth the hassle for commercial drone operators, but for like recreational hobbyists, people that do what we do, I mean, I would even venture to say that remote ID is probably, you know, something that is worth the FAA pushing forward for folks that fly like long range FPV and give them the opportunity to fly long range FPV without it being in the line of sight, you know, because that's kind of one of those rules right now in the FAA is that if you're going to be operating FPV, you kind of, there's no provisions there for the FPV aircraft to be out of the line of sight of the spotter, right? So they say you have to have a spotter and it has to be within the line of sight of the spotter. I think there should be provisions, you know, for an FPV aircraft to be flown long range without it being under a commercial license. I think that's stupid. I would want, you know, I like the idea of a FRIA, you know, the whatever federally recognized ID area or whatever. I think that that's a good thing. If there can be as many FRIAs as you want, but I still think that it's stupid. Like if I am out flying on my property, for them to suggest that I have this remote ID thing when I'm just out in my backyard flying around on my own property, regardless of the airspace, because technically if we're only flying at 400 feet, we haven't really broken any airspace yet. There's a lot of really stupid rules there. So I don't know how that's going to come to fruition. I mean, there are some pending litigation, some pending lawsuits right now against the FAA. One big one from Race Day Quads down in Florida. You know, if you guys are wanting to help support, you know, fighting the good fight against the FAA, I encourage you, if you're a quad guy or even if you're not, you know, go shop at Race Day Quads. They've got a GoFundMe, but I mean, the best way to support them is to buy stuff from them because, man, those guys they're going all in on this FAA lawsuit. Like all profits, everything that they're doing right now. I mean, they're operating on razor tight budgets with P&L statements in the negative to wage a lawsuit against the FAA. So, like I said, whether you're a drone guy or not, if you have, you know, some beef with the FAA rules the way they are right now, Race Day Quads followed all of the rules that are in place for challenging these kinds of regulations, and they've got a lawsuit on the books. So it's going to be heard at some point. I don't know when. I don't know when the results of that lawsuit are going to come out, but I'm certainly interested to see how they fare because a lot of folks have contributed to that lawsuit, and there's going to be a lot of arguments heard on our behalf, you know, on the behalf of the hobbyist. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the court system. Hopefully, you know, the judge or whoever's hearing the case actually gives a crap and doesn't let the, you know, I mean, Race Day Quads is trying to sue the federal government, man. And I assume that in a federal court, the federal government probably gets a little bit of favoritism. I hope they don't. I hope that it is an impartial judge that will hear both sides of the argument and use some common sense. We'll just see. Yeah, Hawk Patterson. The reason that you don't see more lawsuits is because they have a very strict timeline um, in order to file suit against a new rule or regulation. Because most federal and local and state operators operate under what is called there's some kind of sovereignty involved with it, right? Where you can't sue the government unless you can provide some substantial case that the government has wronged you. And then you even have to argue that in the courts. Like, this is why I want to file a suit again. Yeah, like, you have to take that to the court system to even get it approved. The way that Race Day Quads did it, it was done in such a way that they could do it without having to go through all of that BS. So I'm looking forward to see how that plays out, though. But anyway, kind of going back to my little, not really rant. Like I was saying, I mean, I would love to see a situation where if you don't like it, we just wait for the next one, or be happy with the ones that are already out there. There's so many options available to us right now from all kinds of different manufacturers. I mean, there are sport jets coming out the wazoo. There are scale military jets. There are scale warbirds. Lots of them. Maybe it's something where your favorite brand doesn't have what you're looking for. And I mean, to some degree, I can get that. And all you can do is just keep asking. But don't complain, when they put out stuff. I mean, all of these companies are out for one thing. And while making us happy is probably pretty high on that list, I say they're out for one thing. Obviously, they've got many, many, reasons for being in business. But while making us happy is certainly high on the list of priorities when they release a new model, the ultimate goal for every model that they release is making money. They want to make money. And, that goes right back to, why does this company make a plane and then it gets discontinued? Because it didn't make any money. So, hello. But, what I'll say is I can appreciate what all of these companies do, whether it is, models that I like or models that I don't really care for. There's some that aren't built to the standards that I would like to see, but it doesn't make them fly any less great. It doesn't make them less desirable from people that like those brands and people that are loyal to them. Hobby King is coming out with something new tomorrow. I have no idea what it is, but I mean, I'll be the first to admit I'm not a big Hobby King guy. So unless this thing is like mega impressive, it's probably not going to be for me. And that's okay. Don't go into look, I'm not going to go rushing into the comments to watch a video on a plane that I have no intention to buy, to light up people who are reviewing it, to let them know how crappy it is. How big of an ass can you be? Don't do that. There's just no point. So I hope that it gets met with great reception from the people who want, new stuff from that company. But for the rest of us, it's okay. We don't have to watch those videos. We can go and watch, videos on the stuff that we like. If you don't like sport jets, don't watch videos on the Viper. Don't watch videos on this new Vulcan from Motion RC. It only stands to reason. But we do it anyway. It's almost like there's this human trait, some element of humanity that the only thing that we are willing to spew now that social media is a thing, right? How many people, and I know that there's a few, but typically the loudest voice for any product is not people advocating for that product, but people that are pissed off about it. It's very strange. It's a very strange phenomenon. That the people that are the most vocal are in two complete different extremes. And in some respects, I wish that like a company, just one of them, don't even release the numbers from like last year or the year before, but if one of them would release like the 2017 numbers, like show us all the airplanes that you had in your portfolio for 2017, how many were ordered, how many were sold, how many you had left over at the end of the year, what the margins were, all that stuff, so we could at least see some historical data that led to, why certain decisions were made. But the thing that I would find very interesting about that is, if we look at something like the Radian, $240. I mean, this is a great deal, in my opinion. You're getting a 2,000 millimeter glider. It flies forever. It's got awesome lights. It's got a really good receiver in it now. I mean, this is a great plane for a bargain price, in my opinion. And what you're going to find is you're going to find an audience of people that love it. You're going to find an audience of people that cannot stand it. But I promise you, these things probably sold by the thousands and thousands and thousands. And good Lord knows how many of these have actually sold. But you got 100 really pissed off people, maybe 100 really excited people. And those people are just going to light up the internet with their comments. Either the negativity or the staunch defense. And you've got like the thousands of people in between who don't even know what Facebook or RC groups or any of that crap is. They're just happy to go to the hobby store and buy themselves a plane. And just shut up and go fly, man. Just shut up and go fly. Like, how great would that be? If you got nothing good to say, just don't say it. It's cool. Linda and I am doing fantastic. I really am. And, I'll get off of this subject now because I don't want to like beat the dead horse. It's just something that occurred to me because I've been one of those guys that used to complain about new models. And like vocally, I used to be like, this sucks, and now, maybe I'm becoming more wise, whatever, who knows, probably not. I've just got a different perspective on it. I just have a different way of thinking. And maybe a lot of that stems from my kind of choice to take on this role as a, reviewer, affiliate link person, whatever. What I found is that every plane has an audience that really likes it. They really like it. And and it's kind of been my another kind of goal of doing these reviews and stuff, because I mean it's in my best interest to review planes that people are going to want to see, to build the audience, right? So when you look at the things that build audiences and get a lot of views, it's stuff like night radians. Now listen, I'm not going to change the way that I do things, really. These are just observations. Things like the Bigfoot, things that, that come in under that $200 price mark, or really under that $250 price mark, very popular. So, like the air tractor, was very popular. The Bigfoot is very popular. The Radian series is very popular. The 64 millimeter F-15, very popular plane. The Viper, was very well received. The original 70 millimeter. I mean, there's been so many planes that the Timbers, are always very well received. There's so many planes out there that, are so polarizing that you got this love-hate relationship with it. And I think that oftentimes we forget that the silent majority is a whole lot bigger than either of the two polarizing end caps of that argument. So, just something to keep in mind. All right. So next up, let's talk about I don't want to call it all new, because it is a revamped version of the flight test night Radian, right? So everybody remembers the night Radian flight test version. Yeah, this is the same mold. It's the same airplane. But there are some improvements that have been made to it. I think the light controller is probably still the same, but the receiver that's in it is different. Excuse me. Yeah, Pilot Jerry, I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's all about sales numbers. If sales are great, I don't think they leave the model in its current form forever either. I think that they have to do a tech refresh. They have to do something when newer, better components come out for planes that sell very well. It is worth it to refresh that model, like we've got with the Radian here. So this Radian, it comes with the AR631 receiver instead of the AR636. So you have a smart capable receiver. We have a telemetry capable ESC in it now. So it sends flight pack voltage. It sends other data back to the receiver, which transmits over telemetry back down to your transmitter. Now, what I think is super impressive about that, or one of the things that's really nice about having that telemetry built in, regardless of what kind of battery you're using, there is no data line on the ESC. So it's just sending the full pack voltage. So you can use any battery you want, and it will send the flight pack voltage down. That's great on a model like this. So instead of having a countdown timer, I turn on a warning for the telemetry, so when the battery gets down to, say, 11 volts or 11.1, so I'm sitting at like the nominal voltage per cell, because look, you're not really using a ton of battery here to run this thing. So even if I sag a little bit down, under 11.1 on the way up, I can level off and still fly for another 5 or 6 minutes without even running the motor. So, on something like this, though, there's an opportunity for me to set the telemetry thresholds where I want them. And instead of having a countdown timer, have a count up timer. So as soon as I put that thing in the air, it just starts ticking away. So by the time I land, I can look down and be like, my God, I've been flying this thing for 45 minutes or whatever. So I think that that's awesome. That is a welcome change, in my opinion. That's a nice improvement over what we had available in the original Radian. So without having to just replace all the electronics, which you can certainly do. And that's the other thing that's nice about these. They released a new model that comes with the better electronics, but the airframe is still the same. All the components are still available a la carte, so you can upgrade your existing Radian to the specs of the new Night Radian, 2021 edition, whatever we're going to call it. That's not always the case. So, like the Turbo Timber Evolution, for example. I mean, you're not taking a Turbo Timber and turning it into a Turbo Timber Evolution. You'd have to swap out basically the entire airframe. And that's just not, feasible for a lot of people. At an absolute minimum, you'd have to change out the fuselage. If the existing wings will strap onto the new fuselage, I don't know the answer to that. I mean, there's a lot of things to consider there. Oh. Exactly, you. They build what sells. And if we look at the stuff, I consider the people that hang out in these live streams to be high level modelers. Some of us don't have that many models. A lot of us have airplanes like coming out of the woodworks, 30 plus, 40 plus airplanes. It'd be interesting to see what the percentage is of people in here that either currently or have owned in excess of 50 airplanes over their time in RC. I don't think that's the majority of RC airplane people. The majority of RC airplane people might have a couple, 1, 2, 3 models. They don't have a whole freaking basement full of them. I mean, I look into a sea of models on the other side of this camera. All along this wall, there's models everywhere, models behind me, thousands of dollars of models behind me. There's models on the floor. There's parts for models everywhere. There's one here on the desk. There's another one under the desk. There's parts and pieces and fully assembled and not quite fully assembled models and half crashed, and I mean there's models everywhere. I am not, and I venture to assume that a lot of the people that are in these chats, I am not we are not the rule. We are the exception. And you know what they say, like the whole birds of a feather flock together. I mean, we are super into this hobby. There's a lot of people that aren't super into this hobby. So if you look at all of the, yeah, Keith Beck, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, and Wild Bill, over the 30 years, I mean, you've had 50 different models over any period of time is still pretty ridiculous. Pilot Jerry, has 15 airplanes, 3 radios, and 12 receivers ready for more airplanes. I mean, you're building back up. You've been back in the hobby. How many planes did you have before? I mean, it's clear, it's evident to me that the people that normally watch this show, we are not normal. You either have a lot of planes, or you want a lot of planes, or you have had a lot of planes. We are all consumed by the sickness that is RC aviation. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I love this hobby. And I'm thrilled to be a part of it and part of this community. The other thing that I look at is take a look at the companies that are truly sales driven, so like Horizon, for example. I don't know if there's a way to dig up like an archive of what was on Horizon's website a year ago and what's still there today. A lot of models have gone away. And a lot of them didn't come back. So we've lost models that I loved, like the Commander MPD. I thought the Commander MPD was absolutely fantastic. It flies incredible. It is a very well executed model. Gone. It's gone. A lot of the Warbirds are gone. Not coming back. P-39, not coming back. P-47, who knows, if it's coming back or not. What are the ones that keep coming back? They make these models, they don't make them with the intent of discontinuing them. I can promise you that. They make them with the intent to sell them and continue to sell them and revamp them and make them better. If it sells, they're just going to keep revamping it and making it better. Their goal is to find a lineup of models that people want, that just sell continuously. Just people are constantly looking for them. So obviously the Viper was a hit. They sold it, and it's been awesome. Where's the gray version of the E-flite F-18? Where did the Havoc go? I know a lot of people, hated the Havoc, whatever. I mean, that's fair. Where did the Commander MPD go? Where did the F4 go? There were some great planes. There were some awesome, awesome planes that have just gone. It's not because they're selling a lot of them. Even though we think they're awesome, we are the people that buy everything. I love that E-flite F4. I don't know why they got rid of it, because you're one of like the 400 people that bought one. It was not a very well received airplane, unfortunately. Which is just crazy to me. So, these model companies take a lot of risk when they're coming out with these new models. So it totally makes sense to me. Why do we expect these folks to come out with new models all the time? The ones that they have are obviously doing well. I'd rather see these companies invest their time and money into improving the models that are extremely popular than I would see them waste a bunch of R&D dollars on cutting a mold for a plane that they're not even going to get their return on investment back. Like, which one is more of a shame to me? You know, you can either advance the hobby and make better and better models that are going to sell and get people into this hobby, or we can create this all new thing that nobody wants. Weird, you know? Just looking at a... Yeah, Robert Hortleb, what's up, man? So just more, you know, more weird things. Awesome. What? Sorry, I got an email and I have to look at something. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, that's something else that I think is kind of, it tickles me, right? Is I get people that buy stuff with credit cards. I mean, like anything that you're buying with a credit card, you're kind of financing unless you pay your balance every month. I get it, man. Some people use credit cards, and that's cool. Personally, for me, anytime that I'm buying like a toy or something like that, like I'm paying cash for this. I may be using a debit card, but it's coming right out of my bank account. I pay cash for my airplanes. Because sometimes, you know, great things don't happen to these airplanes. Sometimes, you know, what ends up happening is bad. So, you know, it is what it is. So you know, the easy pay is great for some folks, but it's not for me. What's up, Roberto? What really burns your bottom? Gooniac, what is up? Wrights is waiting for him to update the Sopwith Camel.
Playing from Damned 02.
The best dang warbird ever built. Obvious. The best dang warbird ever. Yeah, I'm sure that happens a lot, you know, with the people that that buy stuff using Easy Pay. I bet you that happens a lot. Now here's something that I think Quinn Perkins. So the Carbon Z, here's my understanding of where the Carbon Z line went. Carbon Z was not ever associated with the size of an airplane. It was about construction techniques. You know, using foam and carbon, you know, composite construction to make an airframe more rigid was what the Carbon Z construction was all about. One of the first Carbon Z models was the Prometheus biplane. It wasn't a huge model, you know, but the next ones to come out after that was like the Carbon Z Cessna 150, the Carbon Z Cub, you know, so we got used to this idea of Carbon Z being these big, huge 2,000 millimeter models. Well, the truth is, the E-flite Mustang 1500 is a Carbon Z airframe. The Draco is a Carbon Z airframe. This Night Radian is Carbon Z construction. The new E-flite F-16 is Carbon Z construction. they've just done away with the name. I think it was confusing in the perception that Carbon Z is supposed to be these big, larger than life airplanes, and they didn't want people to get confused, like, oh, they expect only the big planes to have this Carbon Z name. I think they just kind of let the name go. Because the truth is, like I said, there's a lot more of their lineup that uses Carbon Z construction today than has ever used it in the past. So Carbon Z construction is still very much alive and well. They're just not using it anymore. Exactly, Matt M. Carbon Z is now is the construction method that they're going to use on most of their models. Yes, Carbon Z is the Kenny Caniff Carbon K bug zapper. Yeah, they did have that big old BL50 motor, but like I said, I mean that was that that expectation now that why aren't y'all doing more Carbon Z planes? I mean they're all Carbon Z now. Oh, Pilot Jerry, I think that it will still be some type of foam. It may not be EPO foam anymore. It may be EPO foam. I don't know. I would love to see a way for them to get the airframes lighter than they already are. By going with a more dense foam construction, either with carbon reinforcement or even like plastic shell material around them, very lightweight. Like what we have here, like the plastic that they use in a water bottle, the real thin plastic that they use in a water bottle, but something that would not be, um, susceptible to warping in the sun. I mean, there's a lot of things that I think that they could do, and who knows what what's actually going to get done. I'd love to see something that was a little more impact resistant while also being lighter, without going to like a full-on carbon, composite construction, because once you go full composites, everything, all prices go out the window. I mean, we've seen how much composite airplanes cost. Barry Campbell. Yeah, carbon is definitely bad for the environment. You know, like I don't know where, like everything is made of carbon. Carbon rods, humans, trees, this Coke bottle. Pilot Jerry, I would love to see more bind and fly balsa. I mean, my first soiree into balsa has been here recently, and I think that the balsa construction techniques are just getting better. The covering techniques are getting better. The prices of balsa are becoming more competitive with similarly sized foam counterparts. As we get better on how to reproduce some of that balsa construction, I think that balsa is certainly in line to, I don't want to say make a comeback, because I don't think that balsa ever left the building. You know what I mean? But I think that more people are willing to try balsa now than they have been in the past, because we've got companies like OMP Now we've got Hangar 9. We're going to be singing some things from Dancing Wing, starting to come into the market with these plug and play Balsa. That was always one of the things that I didn't like about Balsa, because there's some Nexa models that I really like. There's some Black Horse models that I really like. There's some Hangar 9 models that I really like that aren't really that god awful price when you look at them at face value. So I can get those airframes for maybe $400 or $500. But once you start adding the receiver and the motor, whether you're going to go gas or electric, nitro, you start adding all your power plant in there. You start adding the servos. I need 8 servos for this plane. Well, when you get into the big balsa stuff, them big old servos ain't cheap, dude. So you're talking $300-400 for a set of servos. Like, oh my God, are you serious? Yeah, dude, easy. 300 or $400 for a power system. When you start talking motors and ESCs and the props and all the stuff that you need, I mean, you can easily approach an extra $1,000, with receivers and equipment and the servos and all the other stuff. So that very unassuming price of $500 for the airframe, you're still looking at about $1,200 to get it in the air. So, I mean, that's always been a detractor for me. When I was looking at those Hangar 9 models, when I would look at the Black Horse, when I would look at the Nexa, when I'd look at the Phoenix, the VQ Warbirds, that's always been a big detractor. So I never really considered them very seriously. So when I had the opportunity to get this Dancing Wing PT-17 that that I worked on with BitGo Hobby, I mean that was a great opportunity to kind of see what Balsa was all about. I'd never had. I had one when I was a kid. I had a Balsa plane. I wrecked it. It's gone. But now, that I've been flying the foam planes and am a much better RC pilot than I was back then, the Balsa planes aren't intimidating. The cost of entry is just a lot, and typically the cost of the airframe is maybe 1/2 to 1/3 of your total expense on that plane. So I love the plug and play Balsa idea. I think it's fantastic. I think that this PT-17 is just a beautiful, beautiful airplane. And I think that when people can get their hands on it and they start seeing like the Balsa construction, put a reasonably priced Balsa plane in the hands of an airplane enthusiast, and I think we're going to be able to start getting more people to start kind of moving in that direction. And so, like I said, I love what OMP Hobbies is doing, with like the Bighorn and some of their other models where they've got these Balsa plug and play models now. You just slap in a receiver and go, man. That's awesome. I love what Dancing Wing is doing. They've got several Balsa plug and play models. They've got the Storch, they've got the PT-17, they've got a stick that they've got out. I love that Hangar 9 is now jumping into that with this, with the Ultra Stick. Awesome, awesome planes. And I encourage everybody to check them out. If you've been kind of on the fence about whether or not I want to try out Balsa, what a better time. There's never been a better time to do it than now, man. It's great. Yeah, Matt M, you make a good point there. That edge from OMP is awesome. That's one of the best constructed airplanes I've seen ever. So It doesn't surprise me to see you say that you're not going to buy it unless they come out with a plug and play. I totally get it. And that's what I'm talking about. I think that there's a lot of people that don't even want to mess with the hassle of having to go out and source the right servos. And, the only thing that we get is these recommendations. And there's so many people that just go right off the recommendations. But, are there other great performing servos that I could use here where I don't have to buy these $80 high techs? Of course there are. But now I have to go and like cross-reference the high tech and find out how big it is. So I got to go do this research, and then I got to go find, all the servos out there that, like, say I want, some digital Metal Gear servos in a standard size that have the same speed and torque ratings as those high techs, and something that's going to be a little easier, for my particular budget. That just makes my life more difficult. What motor size do I use? What size ESC do I put in there? What size prop do I need? I mean, there's so much stuff that goes into that selection process. So I love these plug and play Balsas. They come with everything that you need right out of the gate, and it's fantastic. Yeah, Paul Dayton, you're not kidding, man. So he bought the Hanger 9 30cc stick for $600 and was probably thinking like, man, what a deal for $600, because that's a cool plane. It really is. After buying the engine, the ESC, the servos, the aluminum arms, the receiver, all the others, $2,500 from a $600 airframe. Woo! Yeah, Hunter Yoakum, that Commander MPD. I mean, I've got one. It's right there. That to me is one of the best flying airplanes that E-flite has made in a long time. That thing just easy, super easy to fly. When you get it running on 4S, I mean, she will haul the mail. It's quick, extremely maneuverable. And I just think that was one of the planes that will go down as being one of the best planes that never sold. Which really sucks, man. I love the E-flite Commander MPD, and not a lot of people bought onto it, which is a real shame. I mean, some people didn't like it, but most folks that I know that had the Commander MPD, they either still have it or they had one and wrecked it for whatever reason. The sentiment was pretty universal. I've met a couple of people that were like, I didn't really care for it that much. It flew weird, whatever. The general consensus from most of the folks I've known that have had the Commander MPD were universal in saying that it was one of the best flying airplanes they've had, which just blows my mind, man. I really wish that they had stuck with the that they had stuck with it, or maybe the marketing had been a little better. Maybe there'd been more reviews on it. I mean, it just never got a lot of publicity. It never got pushed very hard, which is a shame. I love that plane, and I don't think it'll ever come back. But anyway, we always have the Spitfire. And I think that, one of the reasons that I love the Commander so much is because it so closely resembles a Spitfire in so many different ways that, I love the Spitfire too. What an awesome airplane. All right, guys, so I'm going to take a quick break. I am going to head off camera and leave you guys to talk amongst yourselves for like 5 minutes. And when I come back, we're going to do something fun because right before the show, I hit the 3,000 subscriber mark. No, Barry, I just want to, get around to the other side of the computer without breaking stuff. So I need a full 5 minutes. And I need some time to set up what I'm going to be doing here. I hit the 3,000 subscriber mark right before the show started, which is pretty crazy, right? So I'm still kind of on that same track of picking up like 1,000 subs a month, which is crazy. And you guys are the ones that make it happen. So without announcing shit to anybody, without like making a big mess of it, I put it on Facebook right before the show went live. People that are here, great. People that aren't here, oh well. Here's what I want everybody in here to do, and I will tell you why. Everybody that's in the chat right now, I want you to head over. You're going to have to go maybe back out of the live and look for my review video on the Sirius, not the build video, the full review on the Sirius. I want everybody that's in the chat right now to go in there and write a comment. And the comment that you're going to write in that video is hashtag 3000. All right? So everybody head over to the X-Fly Sirius full review video. So any of the moderators that are in here, if you can find it and put a link to it, then put a link to that video. And I want everybody to go there and put hashtag 3000 in the comments. Just leave that comment anywhere on the X-Fly Sirius full review video. Hashtag 3000. Y'all got it? When we get back, I've got 3 airplanes that we're giving away tonight to anybody who puts hashtag, not to anybody. We're going to do a random selection from the people that put hashtag 3000 in the Sirius full review video. That's the video that I want y'all to go put that comment in. 3 airplanes that we're giving away in 5 minutes. I will be right back. Go make a comment in that video, guys. Wow. Sorry, guys. So that took longer than I expected it to, and I apologize for that. Uh-oh. Where did... Oh, no. Oh, no. I will be right back. Again, I have lost all the comments from the chat. I got to get that back. All right. I got it. I got it. We're back in action. Okay, so for those of you guys that are just now coming to the show and you missed it, we are about to do a giveaway for 3,000 subscribers. Thank you, Wild Bill. Thank you to all the guys that are giving up the, giving it up for hitting 3,000. I appreciate it. If it wasn't for folks like you guys, we never would have gotten there. So as a huge thank you to all of the folks who are, who are here every week, who watch all the videos, we're going to be giving away 3 airplanes right now. And the way to win, if you haven't been here yet, is to go to my full review on the X-Fly Sirius. Head over to that video, and you got to type in the comment. I'm going to put it in here right now. Hashtag 3000. George Watts, man, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So if you head over to the link that David Snyder just put in, head over to that video, and in the comments for that video, type in the phrase hashtag 3000 to get entered in for a chance to win one of 3 airplanes that we're going to be giving away here shortly. We are just about ready. To all of you guys that have left the comments, you do not need to leave a second comment. 1 is enough. No spaces, just hashtag 3000. No spaces. Hashtag 3000 will get you entered. And it must be on the Sirius X-Fly, or the X-Fly Sirius full review model, or yes, X-Fly Sirius full review video that I did a few weeks back. Head over to that video, leave the comment hashtag 3000, just anywhere in the comment. It must have hashtag 3000, and we're going to be giving away an airplane. Big O Bobby, good to see you, brother. So Big O Bobby got here right on time. So let's head over. I'm going to go grab... Bop, 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 bop. So, while you're there, by all means, watch the video, leave a thumbs up. It's a good one. All right, so we're about to run this. All right, so 39 people are entered to win. If you're one of those 39 people, I wish you the best of luck. I am about to run the picker for the first airplane. 3 airplanes that were given away. So first, I want to give a big shout out to Big Go Bobby and Big Go Hobby, who's always been a fantastic sponsor to the channel. We are an affiliate partner with them. So if you go to rcairmarshal.com, you click on the Big Go Hobby link. Anything that you purchase by using that link does offer a small commission back to the channel at no additional cost to you. And we appreciate everything that they do for us. They've always been here for us anytime we have any of these milestones on the show. So thank you so much to Bobby and the folks over at Big Go Hobby, Mr. Jing. Thank you guys for throwing in a couple of airplanes for us to give away tonight. The first airplane that we're going to be giving away is a Dynam Su-26. A Dynam Su-26. Here we go. I'm spinning the wheel. All right. The first winner for the night is Jordan Doel. Congratulations. So Jordan, what I need you to do is send an email to dave@rcairmarshal.com. Send me your name and your address. So Jordan Doel, I need you to come back to me in the comments and say anything at all. There we go. So there's Jordan there. Jordan Doel, congratulations. You are the winner of the Dynam Su-26. Congratulations. All right, the next plane that we're going to be giving away, also courtesy of our great friends at Big Go Hobby. This is for a Dynam Meteor. This is for just the regular old Dynam Meteor, not the Glosta Meteor, but the regular Dynam Meteor. Single engine, 70 millimeter, I believe 6S EDF. Pilot Ryan, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. So this is for, again, the 6S 70 millimeter Dynam Meteor EDF jet. Are you guys ready for this? I'm ready for this. We're picking a winner. So the first winner, Jordan Doel. Congratulations. The winner of the Dynam Meteor, and you must say something in the chat. You've got like 1 minute to say something in the chat. Up. So the Dynam Meteor is a 4S plane. Sorry about that. It's 4S. So I lied. Sorry, guys. The winner of the Dynam Meteor is Defrost42371. Defrost42371. If you are in the chat, I need you to say something. Defrost42371, there you are. So Defrost42371, I need you to send an email to dave@rcairmarshal.com. You are the winner, my friend, of a Dynam Meteor 70mm EDF jet, 4S capable. Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations. And this last one is from me. And I've thought long and hard about what I was going to do. And initially, I was going to do, I just want to keep it different tonight, right? We're going to do the Su-26, which is a nice little prop plane. We did the Meteor. You know what? The last plane that we're going to give away tonight is a 2021 model E-flite Night Radian, just like the ones you guys see here. The lucky winner will get an E-flite Night Radian, just like the one that we have on the bench here tonight, courtesy of me, the RC Air Marshal, as a way to say thanks to you guys for helping this channel get to 3,000 subs. So, thank you all so much for being here tonight. Thank you guys for being here week after week, helping this channel grow. It's been a great ride. We're rolling for the E-flite Night Radian 2000mm powered glider right now. We're rolling. We're rolling. And the winner, now listen, whoever wins this, you don't have to take it, right? The winner is Victor RC EDF Jets, who I know is typically a jet guy, but I mean, I never say no to a free airplane. So what do you say, Victor? Are you going to be the happy recipient? Are you going to be the happy recipient of an all-new E-flite Night Radian? Awesome. So we have our winner, Victor RC EDF Jets. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Congratulations to all the winners, to Jordan. I can't remember who won the second plane, so I hope they send me an email. I'm just kidding. I'll go back in the chat and find it. I didn't write it down because I'm an idiot, and there were only 3 winners. I'll remember it as soon as I see it. Defrost, that's right. So congratulations to Jordan, congratulations to Defrost, and congratulations to Victor Shamulus on winning, in that order, the Dynam Su-26, the Dynam Meteor, and the E-flite Night Radian. Awesome prizes, and I am glad to be able to once again share this hobby that I love so much with the folks that make it possible for me to do this every week. So I'll tell you guys, you know, I called Bobby at about 7:15 today and was like, hey man, I think I'm going to do a giveaway. So this wasn't planned. It wasn't nothing. I was just like, hey dude, I'm sitting at like $29.97. If I can get to 3,000 before the show starts, I'm going to give away some airplanes. So I called up old Bobby and was like, hey man, you wanna help sponsor a giveaway? And he was like, heck yeah, dude. throw in one of these and throw in one of these. And I was like, yeah. So thank you to everybody. Thank you for all the congratulations. I mean, you guys are every bit as deserving of those congratulations as I am. I wouldn't, it's no lie, man. None of us would be here if you guys weren't watching us every week. So thank you, sir. Thank you to all of you guys. Congratulations to all of you, for just being here, man. It's awesome. And thank you also to George Watts. And thank you to Pilot Ryan for the awesome super chat contributions tonight. That's fantastic, and I very much appreciate it. Hamilton Tiger, you missed it. We had a little giveaway action. Yeah, dude. So watch out for the Bit Ghost at Big Go Hobby. The Big Go warehouse has a Bit Ghost, and he don't mess around. So, excuse me, to all the winners from tonight, Jordan, Defrost, and Victor, I need all three of you to shoot me an email if you haven't done it already to Dave. I'll put it in the chat. I mean, all of you can email me, but I only want emails with like names and addresses from people who actually won something tonight. So Dave at rcairmarshall.com. There you go. David Snyder. He knows what's up. So Victor Shameless, Defrost, and Jordan Dole, please shoot me an email to dave at rcairmarshall.com with your name and your mailing address, and we will make sure that the prizes for tonight's giveaway get mailed out to you guys very promptly. And I hope you guys enjoy and love your airplanes. RC Steamboat Kits. Interesting. Paul Dayton, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. I know that here in the United States, $25 New Zealand money is only worth about $2.27. But the thought is awesome, and I really appreciate you doing that, man. I'm only messing with you. I appreciate the hell out of all contributions that are made to the channel, no matter what currency they are in. Mickey B, that's a good question. My OnlyFans channel is really going to get... I'm going to take a lot of hits, dude. I mean, almost everything that I've got over there is very explicit. And I'm just going to have to find another way to share my plug life with everybody. I'm going back to the poll. That's right. Yeah, I thought that OnlyFans was for people that don't like wearing clothes. And George Watts, if it is, I really hope that it is a dang Dennis Farley. So big thank you to Dennis Farley also, who made a very generous contribution via PayPal tonight. So thank you very much, sir. That's awesome, man. Cool, Victor. And to Jordan and Defrost, I also need emails from both of you. If you've sent them already, cool. You do not need to send another one. So I want to tell y'all one of the things that I got for the Night Radian. There's not obviously not a lot of upgrades that you can or even need to do on a Night Radian. It's a pretty simple airplane. It's 3 channels. You got power, rudder, elevator. That's it. I got the Wingnut Tech light controller for it, which adds some different patterns. Every LED is still individually addressable, but you can assign the controller to either a knob, for continuous control of the different patterns. It's also got a very neat feature where that controller has a built-in altimeter. So you have a mode in there where the plane will light up more and more and more the higher you go. So, at 0, it's not lit up at all. And the higher you go, the more the fuselage lights up, which is really neat. You can also have it where, the tail section will act as a vario, where when it's white, everything is steady. When it flashes green, it means it's going up. When it starts flashing red, it means it's going down. So you're in a descending altitude rate. There's a lot of really neat things that controller can do that you don't get with the stock controller. The stock controller is awesome. The light patterns from the stock controller are very cool, but that Wingnut Tech controller just adds some functionality to it that you don't get out of the box, like the ability to change the light patterns and stuff using the radio. And you can also choose to have the wingtips act like running lights, so like the wingtip on the left wing will be all red and it will flash white every few seconds, like a true, navigation light with a beacon. Obviously the right wing would flash, would shine green all the time with a white flash every couple seconds. So very cool features that get added to the plane. I think that controller was $30, and the name of the website is Wingnut Tech. Actually, I don't know that that's the name of the website, but the what you're looking for is Wingnut Tech, and you should be able to do a Google search on that Wingnut Tech Radian, controller, and it just swaps right back into the plane. There's a couple of components that you pull out, you put the Wingnut controller in, and it gives you all that added functionality. So for those of you guys like Victor, for example, who's getting one for free because he won the drawing tonight for a free Night Radian. Yes! So congrats again, Victor. Check out the Wingnut Tech controller. For $30, you can have a lot more functionality, be able to change the light patterns from the transmitter, and be able to have like the navigation light set up, the vario set up, and the altitude, set up with the fuse lighting. That's some very cool features in my book. I think that's very neat, and it's worth checking out. If you've got a Night Radian of any variety, if you've got the flight test Night Radian or this version of the Night Radian, that controller will work in both variants of the airplane. So check that out. All right. So it is 9:54. Keith Beck, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Nate, thanks, dude. I know you're always looking out for me, you know, and sending me the finest of what's available on the internet over Instagram messaging. Let me see what it says here. Oh God. That's funny. So Victor, let me see if I can find it real quick. Let's see, Wing Nut Tech. Doo-doo-doo. Products. Victor and everybody, the link there is for that Wingnut Tech Night Radian light controller. So if you're interested in picking up the Wingnut Tech light controller from wingnuttech.com, there it is. They are made to order. It is based on like a little Arduino module. So I don't know how many he's got, how long it takes for him to ship them out. I assume they're pretty quick. So yeah, guys, if you've got a Night Radian and you want to be able to have a little extra functionality and be able to control some things and have a little different light pattern, you know, it's got like a Knight Rider style light pattern that goes all the way across the wing. One of the things that's neat about the Wingnut Tech controller, and you know, we'll get a little geeky about this, is on the Night Radian as it sits, the light controller has 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see how many inputs it's got. So the light controller has 5 inputs on it. By default, or with the built-in light controller, all 5 of the inputs for the light controller are in parallel. So all 5 light strips, while the lights in the strip are individually addressable, the light strips are all treated exactly the same, right? So the wing strip, everything is treated the same. Whether it's back here, you know, in the horizontal stab, you know, the fuselage lighting, the right wing, left wing, the front of the fuselage, running up the rudder, all of the light strips are treated identically. So whatever light pattern you have, all of the strings are going to follow that same pattern. With the Wingnut Tech controller, it addresses each strip individually. So you've got individual control over every LED in there, which is how they're able to make, you know, just the tips of the wings. So they're able to make just the tip light up red and green for navigation lights. It's how they're able to make that Vario functionality work back here in the tail section. It's how they're able to make that altitude functionality light up more and more and more of the fuse as it goes up. So each string of lights is individually addressable using the Wingnut Tech controller, so you can get the types of patterns that they are able to produce are a little more complex than what you get with the stock controller. So again, you know, I've got no affiliate relationship with the guys at Wingnut Tech. You know, they're just making a really cool product that I want to point your guys towards. So if you have a Night Radian and you want something cool, get you a Wingnut Tech controller, buy you one, and see what's up. Scotty Story, what's going on, man? All right, so unfortunately, the time has come for us to call it quits for the night. So it is 10 o'clock. That means that in 15 minutes, we should all head over. Well, hopefully Ray is doing a show tonight. I don't recall seeing an alert for it, but I had so much stuff coming through. Yes. So Guniac will be going live tonight. So be sure to head over to Guniac 33 Fiery Booty tonight to check out Ray's show and all of the shows from all the different folks that run live shows every week. We really appreciate you guys coming to these things. I know that a lot of these shows, you know, it's just us getting together to chat and whatever. But, you know, the people running the shows, we love you guys. And thank you so much. Thank you to all the folks that have expressed their congratulations for the milestone that we've hit of 3,000 subs. Couldn't do it without you, man. All you guys are great. And we will see you next week. Now, next week will be a E-flite fly-in. So if you don't have E-flite 9.5 yet and you want to participate in the E-flite fly-ins, y'all know what to do. Head over to rcairmarshal.com, click on that Horizon link, and pick you up a copy of E-flite 9.5. Join us next week for the E-flite fly-in, and we will see you back on the live shows like this one 2 weeks from tonight. All right, guys. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you next week. And we will see you this weekend from Muncie, Indiana, at the AMA headquarters for the National Electric Fly-In. Can't wait to see you there for the folks that are coming. And we'll see you next week back on the live streams. Good night, guys.